Welcome to part 1 of the CROSLEY American Overseas Model 66 TC radio. As you can see here, the speaker is in real nice shape, and in order to keep it that way, we've got some cardboard we're going to be putting on there. Before we start doing this, I'm going to show you what I've got accomplished here on the radio. I'm going to get my flashlight out. I replaced the electrolytics. It's a 4-section 20 microfarad at 450 volts. Well, 3 of the sections are 450, and the 4th section is 25 volts for the cathode bypass cap on the 6V6 audio output tube. So I got 3 450 volt 22 microfarad here on the terminal strip, and I managed to pick up the tab a little bit on the chassis down here and solder to that and pushing that tab through the hole in the terminal strip. I could have used 2 more terminals on there. It was pretty hectic trying to hold the magnifier, hold the soldering iron, hold the solder, hold the needle nose. It was like an octopus here, so it took me a long time to get these in here. While I was here, I replaced the power cord. Soldered it to the switch. Replaced a couple of caps here, as you can see. And of course we got quite a few more to go yet. But at this stage of the game, I can plug in the speaker after I get it covered with cardboard so I don't knock a hole in it. And we can probably fire this up on a dim bulb, because we got electrolytics in here that, we replaced the original electrolytic. We don't bother restuffing or anything like that. That's a lot of work, and we're just not going to do that. So let me show you the electrolytic that I took out. I think you can see that. This is the Kodak Play Touch. It does not go as close as my JVC or the SR12 Sony. So it's 20, 20, 20 at 450, then 20 at 25 volts. And a little dust on the end there, but other than that, not too bad. We cut the leads off flush, and we used some of the leads to go on here. The wire is brittle. It's not rubber coated, but it is brittle. But I replaced one. There's an orange one there that was a little short. So I went in my junk box and got another piece of hookup wire, stranded, put it in there. The gray one down there is the original one that was hooked up and went inside the old electrolytic. A 330 ohm cathode resistor, according to the schematic. Thank you, Doug, for sending it to me. It shows a 330 ohm, and that's what this is according to the color code, but it reads completely open. I do not have, it shows a 1 watt. That looks more like a 2 watter. But all I've got is half watts in those, and that'll just burn right out. I don't have a wire wound I can put in there either, but I don't think you'd really want to put a wire wound in cathode bypass, cathode resistor, I should say. And I've got a little electrolytic over here that is going to go in. It's 100 volts at 22, 22 microfarads, because the original one is only 20. But you could go over that. I may or may not use that. I may go to 100 microfarads, because you get a little more base out of it, a little more gain out of it by increasing the cathode bypass. We used to do that years ago. Well, I used to do that years ago on radios. They give you a little more bottom end, slightly, like increasing the coupling capacitors from the amplifier to the output tube. But we're not going to do that in this radio. We may go up a little bit on the cathode bypass. But what I got to do now is I got to replace this, and I don't have one. So I may have to run down to Jan Electronics and get a 330 ohm. I'd like to get a 5 watter. I know if I dig in my box, I probably have a metal film or flame-proof resistor, 1 watt. But I don't think that's a 1 watt. I think that's a 2. It looks like the schematic parts listing. It doesn't tell you what the resistor serves, but it's the only 330 ohm resistor in the parts list, and it says 1 watt. I find that very hard to believe. Because see this one right here? That looks like a 1 watt. Okay? And these others here are half watt. See? So anyways, and there's a half watt up there. This looks like a 3 or 4 watt. It looks like it, but the older resistors were larger anyways. This is a mica cap. That's the way the radio was made. That's not my work. But I won't touch that. I replace the wax condensers as I go along. So we're going to get this speaker covered. I'm going to plug it into the dim bulb. Like I say, we got a new cord on it now. Now, the radio, like Bill told me, the radio played 7 years ago, but I don't see how it could play if the cathode resistor for the audio output tube is open. And it definitely is open. I used this meter just in case. I thought maybe there might have been something wrong with my Fluke 73, but it isn't. And it reads open. So I'm at a standstill now as far as getting any sound out of it. But I can check and see if the B plus comes up without any shorts and so forth. But I can't test the radio, even though it's not recapped. I can't do anything until I replace that 330 ohm cathode resistor for the 6V6 audio output tube. Alright, I got my voltmeter ready. I got the ground. The common ground is the chassis. The negatives of the electrolytic, all 4 sections go to the chassis. So we've already got that wire down on here. We're going to plug this into we'll turn this switch off for now. We're going to plug it into the dim bulb, and we'll make sure our dim bulb is, alright, that's the bypass. We don't want to bypass the bulb yet. So we're on bulb right now. We'll get that plugged in and be right back. Okay, we're plugged in. We'll turn it on. Just a faint glow. I don't know if you can see that right now. Now, we don't know if the rectifier tube is any good. And we don't know if the tubes are in the right sockets. I assume they are. Well, we're getting 207 volts. We have to have the speaker on, even though the cathode bypass resistor is open. It's cold. Because the field coil, as I said, is part of your filtering network. So we're getting 207 volts there. We're getting 220 volts there. This is the negatives here, and this is the other section over here. And we're getting 244 volts. So that's the input filter there, where the orange wire that I added goes to. This here is a capacitor which goes from here to the cathode. It's not the electrolytic, it's another one. I got it written down. I have a notation here as to what things I got to do here. 6V6 pin 8 cathode, 330 ohm resistor is open, so that's stopping me dead in my tracks right now because I don't have a 2 or 3 watt resistor. The 0047 microfarad goes to pin 8 to the black lead on the speaker socket, which is this here. This is a leftover spaghetti tubing and the old cap, 0047 or 005 in this particular radio. 22 microfarad cathode bypass cap on pin 8 to ground. These are just notations that I take for myself. Now, we're not going to get anything out of this because this resistor is open. So you're not getting anything. Take this off here a minute. If I can move this down if I don't knock it off onto the ground. Alright, the audio output tube is lit. And another tube is lit here. This is your rectifier tube. It is hot. So, let me look in my resistor box over here. I got quite a few resistors. Some of them I bought on classified, Intake Radio Forums classified there a couple years ago. And, but I got to hunt around here because there was a time I didn't have any power resistors. But they're all wire wound, so I'm sure I'm going to do this off camera. I'm sure I can come up with something close to 330 ohms. So let me do that, and I'll get right back to you. Well, we're dead in the water. I don't have anything. I have 1 ohm, 2 ohms, 8.2 ohms, 1500, 10,000. Nothing. 550. You know, I just don't have it. So, and most of them are not even marked. And I did mark them years ago when I got them, tested them all, but the black magic marker doesn't show up too good on them. My bad eyesight, I can't see them, so I'm not going to go and get the ohm meter out and go through. That'll take me at least an hour or more to go through all those. So we're dead in the water. So nothing I can do now until I get a resistor. The only thing I can do is put a half watt in there, and it'll probably cook it. Maybe we'll do that because that's all I've got. I don't even have a 1 watt. Well, the best I can do is parallel 2 1,000 ohm resistors. That'll give me 4 watts. So that'll be 500 ohms. The best I can do, closest I can come to. So that'll give me a little higher bypass resistance. May raise the cathode. I hear something. Something scratching outside, I think. Might be a bird or something. Alright, let me parallel these two. Alright, I got it paralleled. The 330 ohm resistor goes to ground and goes to pin 8 of the 6V6, which is your cathode. And there's the resistor there. So we'll turn the radio on. We don't need to check the B plus again. We'll just turn the volume up. Check the dim bulb, which is actually lighting brighter now. Usually it's the other way around. Now, I haven't tested any of the tubes, so they could be shorted too, for all I know. Stone dead. Stone dead. Let's put my meter on. $155. This is the input filter. $199. So it was $240 before. So it's audio output tube is drawing current. But there's absolutely no sound coming out of the speaker. Well, the audio's working. And of course, not running warm at all. Or the capacitors are cool. They're 450 volt rated. We don't have a cathode bypass in here though. But that wouldn't stop it from working. What it would do, that's the negative. This is the ground, it's the negative. Is give you a little more gain and a little more bass. Alright. Well, touching the tuning condenser, nothing. Pilot lights are dead, so they're burnt out. Let's just make sure. It could be on the phono band too, you know. I think that's exactly where it was. Volume's all the way up. Short wave right now. Nothing. So the speaker's good because you wouldn't be getting any clicks otherwise. So we got to get the right resistor, but I don't think a 500 ohm. We parallel to 1000 ohm 1 watt resistor, so we got 4 watts total, and 500 ohms. We're a little high on the cathode resistor, but that should not stop the radio from working altogether. But there's not a lot of gain in there, and the possibility we could have a bad tube. And we haven't changed any of these caps, nor did we change the. We changed one cap right here. So after I made the introduction video, a little while later, after I edited the video and sent it up to YouTube, I came out here and I did all this and replaced. I figured I'd replace these caps and the cord, of course, which was I was only able to do that if I had taken the big electrolytic out of there, which I did. So well, it looks like we might have a little something. Hang on, let me get a piece of wire and put on there. You know, there's no loop antenna on this too. I just remembered that. So, but there's not a lot of gain. That should blast you out. That's very weak. So the audio amplifier is very weak. Okay, that made a difference. But I cleaned the controls with the deoxit. I don't see how it could have worked with that resistor open. Maybe it wasn't open when he tried it 7 years ago. I don't know, but it's working.
And CUNY students must.
Really hard to tune this without a knob. That's my camera.
What I have said that you're referring to, he's behind me 100%. He knows I would never do anything like that. It just.
I don't understand how that can be the AM antenna loop with only a few turns like that. But obviously, I didn't get anything on AM, and it was pretty dead until I hooked this up. So that's puzzling. I've worked on many radios, and you see how many turns are on this? I've never seen one with only a few turns and still be an AM standard broadcast antenna loop. But it's working, and it still needs to be recapped. So let's check the shortwave, see if I get anything. All right, I got a Rube Goldberg just hooking up here. It's kind of hard to hook it up in here because I'd have to reach in the back of the Kenwood and unplug it. So let's just see what we get here.
São normalmente as mulheres e as crianças. Então, magic and amulet magic. Well, it's interesting that in practical Kabbalah, some of their high-level
speakers muffled with the cardboard, of course. It would give a richer tone if it wasn't dampened down with the cardboard, and it would sound even better in the box. Of course, they got a lot of noise in the shop. I'm lucky I'm getting anything. Okay. All right. So, yeah. All right. That's the shortwave antenna. That's the loop antenna here for the broadcast band. But you know, this volume's all the way up. Should be louder than that. And when we get the cathode bypass in, that's going to give you more gain in the audio as well as a little more bottom end. But I don't like really using this. This is a 100 volt, and you only need a 25 volt. This is a 22 microfarad. The original one was 20. There was 20s all the way around here. But I'll try to find one a little bigger because these leads don't quite reach. when I put it in there. But we're not going to do that until we replace this resistor. And it's just barely warm. This wire here came off the big electrolytic. That's the 25 volt section, 20 microfarad. So I left it on there, but I already looked in the tube manual. Pin 8 is the cathode. So we're going to replace these capacitors, but not tonight. This is part 1. I was anxious to see how it would work, and I really don't know how much current it's drawing, but you can see that the bulb is brighter now. Let's put it back on. I got all 4 knobs for this. That's the camera. So you pull it away, you don't hear it. Bring the camera up. That's the camera doing that.
And monthly dues, $10 as well. And if they become full-time members of the...
All right, now we'll put the bypass off.
Join the Raccoon
We got full voltage now.
Team, notice the Hurricanes, of course, and enjoy that annual ride up the Hudson River to Raccoon Point and compete in the...
Right, we're going to shut it off because we want to make sure. Ice cold. Don't worry. I'm not touching them down here. I'm touching up here. So they're not going to get zapped. You know where to touch. You're fine. I've gotten my share of zappings, though. All right, I don't know. It wasn't on macro, so it probably was out of focus. But we have to come up with a 330 ohm resistor. I'll probably have to run the JN Electronics. I haven't been to JN Electronics in about a year. And get a 330 ohm. I don't know. 2 watt? That's an awful big 2 watt. It looks to me like more like a 3 or 4 watt. That's your cathode bypass. I mean your cathode resistor, I should say, not bypass. Cathode resistor for the 6V6 audio output tube. All right, so again, this is going to end part number 1. I would imagine there'll be 1 or maybe 2 more parts to this video. I'll be working on this tonight, which is Monday. It is 7:15 p.m. right now, at which I am making this video. So there isn't all that much wrong with it. Now, the IF on this is 455 kc. We can peak those up, but that'll be the last thing we do. As I said before, I do all my work off camera because I need to get my face right up in there. It was very frustrating putting these in. I could not see the wires going in. It was like threading a needle. I could not see it. I was holding my magnifier. The head visor that I got up there, I have to get my head so close, I bang into the chassis. It aggravates the hell out of me. I'm always banging. Even my safety reading glasses. I have to be that close. I have to be very close like this. So, and then holding this magnifier and getting the wires to go in. And I had to tack this in because I could not get that into the hole. So I had to tack it, which I hate doing, tack soldering. But sometimes you have to do that when you can't see what you're doing. But I love the hobby. As frustrating it is with my eyes, I know what I got to do. I just can't see to do it. And it is extremely frustrating. All right, so again, if I can learn to keep my mouth shut, I am going to end this video. This is the end of part number 1. Again, mostly a show and tell, but as I started to say, I show the work I've done, but I don't show it being done. So the next time you see this radio, these caps will be replaced. Maybe all of them, because there isn't that many. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5. And I think this might be a line bypass. I'm not sure. I really should take that out of the circuit before it explodes on me. I'm not sure if it is or not, but it's near the power transformer. I would venture to say that that is probably a line bypass. And I've got caps for that. I got the X and the Y safety caps. I've got a bunch of different values from Sal's capacitor corner. So I'll replace with that a safety cap when that time comes. All right, folks. At least we're not going to knock a hole in the speaker. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for part 2. Not sure when I'm going to get it up there. Times I get in the mood, I'll go out here and I'll start working. But it won't be tonight. Have a good night, everybody. This concludes part number 1.